challenges associated with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, schematically they're trying to confuse you, give you different looks, trying to simulate a five-man rush and dropping an end out, getting the four down, stuff like that. And really just alignment of people. Pre-snap is going to give me a big key on things. And then just, dialing in our game plan, understanding what to go with, where getting our run checks right. So I feel good about it.
So are you excited to get Big 12 play started this week?
Yes, sir. Ready to go.
Are they similar to any other defense that you played in that way?
Last year, honestly, I can't remember like that. Yeah, I can't tell you about last year,
Okay.
but not this year so far.
What do you think about just the challenge of that aspect?
I mean, it's just another week, just going in the game plan and running our plays and trying to put us in the best situation. So, feel good about it.
Having played in a lot of close games in the conference last year, I guess what did that teach you now coming in this year, knowing what it's like to play in the Big 12?
Yeah, it's a conference of margins. You got to win the details. We talk a lot about the middle eight, taking care of the ball, and then just playing our game. And the games come down to the clutch. And we had 5 games last year that was, last second either touchdown or stopped by the defense. So we understand what it takes now, and just good for us to go into that with that under our belt and knowing what it takes.
Sam, knowing the type of quarterbacks that you faced last year in the conference, how exciting is it for you to face a guy like Sawyer, kind of like Sawyer's had like this kind of resurgent story as a veteran like yourself? Kind of what excites you about kind of watching that?
I don't really view it like that. I'm going in with my team and try to play the best game that we got. Nameless, faceless opponent every single week. So I'm just going in with my guys.
That being said, are you kind of excited to check out a new road venue? I mean, none of you guys have ever played out in Waco against Baylor before.
Yeah, my dad went to grad school there. Parents lived there for a little bit. Brother was born there, so I've never been there. It's going to be cool to go back and see the place I grew up.
Have they told you anything about it at all?
Yeah.
What they
not.
say?
I'm not going to talk about it too much.
Bulletin board material this week?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's it like seeing Ralik thrive the way he has after we went through last season?
Just a guy who's been putting in the work. Great kid, great teammate. Always brings the juice. High energy guy. You don't really see him in a different mood every single day. He's kind of the same guy. So I really appreciate that, and I know the team does. Brings the juice to practice, puts in the work. So someone like that, and then you add some talent to that, and you're only going to see success. I'm just really proud of him, and continue to get him the ball and see what he can really do.
Sam, Kenny announced that Jalen Moss is potentially going to be coming back this week. What is it like going to be having basically as your number one slot guy? What's it going to be to like have him now headed to this?
Yeah, we got to get him back out here. He's dealing with some eye thing right now. I don't really know exactly what's going on, but I'm excited to get him back out here so we can do.
Sam, we talked last week about you getting into rhythm early in the game. How did you feel like you did that Saturday night?
Well, I thought it was way better. It was the first time I felt like I was really playing ball again, having fun out there, not thinking too much, and just kind of playing, and I feel like that's when we play the best. We're a really creative team that plays within the system. That's a player that I am, so I kind of need to be free-flowing in a lot of ways while playing within the system. So getting me going early, Coach Arroyo did a great job. We met a lot last week, and so we're going to continue to do that every single week going forward. Just understand what it takes, just getting on the same page. We're seeing the same things in the game, so understanding that, the difference between week 1 and 2 and last week was exponential because of the work that we put in together earlier in the week. So that was really good to see.
Sam, as one of the leaders on this team, Cook also being one of the leaders, how have you seen his passion kind of influence and uplift this team?
He's always had the passion, but he's definitely stepped into more of like the guy for the defense. Last year he was definitely juiced, but he wasn't like the spokesman. Zay does still a lot of our speeches and stuff, but just to see him going, he's a player who he triggers on the ball super fast and makes some special plays, dips under tackles, pulling guards and stuff like that. So he's a really fun player to watch.
Do you feel like you and him and Wes in leadership council kind of see eye to eye a lot of the time in the conversations of how to lead this team?
Yeah, we have a really good understanding of what we want to get accomplished and how we're going to do that. And that just goes back to Coach Dillingham implementing these things early on. Starting last year, and it kind of just fell into this year. Our leadership council understands what it takes and the type of people and teammates that you need to be, and then they hold everyone else accountable to that, and everyone else follows. So it's kind of a whole collective thing.
Sam, there's been a lot of criticism towards Baylor's defense, at least in the first 3 weeks. What have at least you watched on film about what are the positives maybe that maybe the public doesn't know about them?
Positives? I don't know. I don't really love to give too many compliments out there. They do a good job, I guess, with disguises, and so it's just getting me in the best look and formationally understanding, seeing a structure a bunch. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to speak too much on that.
I'm sure you don't get you don't really care about the outside noise too much, but after that loss to Mississippi State, do you feel like you guys have kind of been slept on a little bit, kind of nationally and just kind of in this game?
Yeah, but is it slept on if you didn't produce anything? You know, so I just like it again because we got to get out the mud just like it was last year. It's kind of the type of person and player I am. You know, I don't love all the praise. I don't play better like that. I don't work as hard when it's like that. So just kind of understanding that, you know, it kind of grounded me and got me back to square one into my roots and understanding why I do this. And it's for myself and my teammates. So I kind of, you know, took out all the crowd noise and lock it in every single week.
Your dad told me that you used to tell him in youth football what plays weren't going to work and why. And so is it natural for you to have that sort of a dialogue with like an OC like Roya?
I honestly don't even remember that happening. But I can see, yeah, I can definitely see that. I guess I've just kind of always viewed the game like that. I've kind of always viewed everything that I do like that. Basketball, when I used to play, you know, I feel like I feel space extremely well and kind of see things before it happens, leverages, body language. So I guess you kind of take it from there, and then once you add it to understanding football as a game, you know, structurally and schematically, then it kind of, you know, combines into one thing, and I feel like, you know, you start to develop a pretty special understanding of the game.
Sam, Shimon had one of the best games of his career last week. What do you think worked in connection between you two this past week?
Yeah, you know, we came into the week saying we got to get the ball into our playmakers' hands. You know, Shimon's a guy who can do some really good stuff for us. You know, he's a big guy. People don't really want to tackle him, and so I just got to get him the ball, and we did a good job of that, and gonna continue to get our tight ends the ball.
Sam, Saturday's game pits a couple of teams that score a lot of points. Do you see this as a shootout?
Could be. I'm just here to win the game.
Would that be fun for you?
Oh yeah, yes sir. Thank you guys.
Tyson Reed's Big 12 with most receiving yards. Talk about your and his relationship throughout the couple of years.
Yeah, JT's my guy. He's one of the hardest workers I know. Great kid, constantly trying to better himself in every category of life. So you know, you're only gonna see growth from that. That's my dog for life, and he's gonna continue to wow people. That's all I got. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Sam.